Welcome to this week's What's for Dinner video. My name is Ashley. I'm going to be showing you 3 different meals I made this past week. I don't always follow recipes exactly, but if you're interested, I've linked some similar recipes down below. The first dinner I'm going to be showing you, I made some queso chicken tacos. So I am just starting out with some toppings while I am cooking up the chicken in my Instant Pot. I'm just taking 1 head of romaine lettuce, cutting that up into really fine shreds, and then I'm going to wash it. Next, I'm going to work on some tomatoes. So I'm just taking a couple tomatoes and basically dicing them up into little cubes. We are not the biggest fan of tomatoes, so this was plenty. I just used, I think, 1 full tomato. Once I was done cutting the tomato, I just set that aside on a plate, and next I'm going to work on cutting up some fresh jalapeno. I absolutely love fresh jalapeno with anything, so of course I had to use some for my tacos. Last on the prep is to make some homemade guacamole. You know how I feel about homemade guacamole. I always have a handful of avocados on hand for any type of dish. So I love to make some guacamole using some fresh lime and just some salt and pepper. I also feel like I eat most of the guacamole before we can even use it on the tacos because it's so good. Next, I'm just going to work on shredding the chicken. So I cooked 2 large chicken breasts in my Instant Pot. Now I'm just going to shred them up. I do lightly season it before it goes in, but then I like to season afterwards. Once I have the chicken all shredded, I'm going to put it in my pan, and I'm just going to work on this nice chicken mixture. So I added it to the pan on a medium heat, and I'm adding in a little bit of water and chicken bouillon powder as chicken broth. I'm going to season with some adobo seasoning, cumin, cayenne pepper, taco seasoning. I basically like to do my chicken like this because the liquid gets nice and hot and the chicken absorbs it and becomes nice and soft and even more shredded. I highly recommend doing this when you make any type of chicken or tacos. It really just like tenderizes your chicken. This is basically it for my chicken mixture. If you want to make things a little more spicy, you can totally add in some chipotles and adobo. Lastly, I really like to heat up the tortillas and get them nice and brown. I do this on a pan because we have like an electric stove and the tortillas just kind of would stick to it. And this works totally fine. Just get them nice and brown and put them in some foil to keep warm. This is how everything looked when it was done. We just topped it with some of the queso, lettuce, tomatoes, and fresh guacamole. The next dinner I'm going to be showing you, I just made some classic fettuccine chicken Alfredo, and this was so good. Starting off with a little bit of chicken, not using too much because we weren't having this for leftovers or anything. I'm just going to butterfly this little breast that I had in half. I'm going to season with my adobo seasoning as well as some Cajun seasoning. I just added a little bit of olive oil to my pan. I have this set on about medium high. I'm just going to place both pieces down and cook them until they're nice and brown on each side, and then flip it. Once the chicken was done, I just set that aside on a cutting board to rest. Now I'm going to work on the Alfredo sauce. So I'm leaving the pan all kind of dirty with the juices, and I'm adding in some butter just to kind of help scrape that off, as well as some minced garlic. Feel free to add in some real onion, but I'm just going to add in some onion powder for this. Next, I'm going to add in my heavy whipping cream. I'm just adding a little bit by little bit and just mixing that all around, bringing it up to a nice simmer. I, of course, added in some salt and adobo seasoning. Once it was nice and hot, I'm going to add in my cheeses. So I'm going to add in some Parmesan cheese as well as a handful of Monterey Jack cheese. I just love a nice cheesy Alfredo. I just boiled about half a box of fettuccine noodles, so I'm just going to slowly toss that in. This looks so delicious, and this is the consistency you want. I just cooked a little bit of green beans in the oven, and this is ready to serve. Such an easy and quick dinner, but so good. This is how everything looked when it was done. I just chopped up the chicken and set it on top of the pasta. The last meal I'm going to be showing you is actually a breakfast that we had because we had like 4 days off for the holidays. We made some really yummy breakfast sandwiches with some hash browns on the side. So I'm just starting off with my little hash browns. These are just called potato rounds, and I'm just going to put a little bit of these on a baking sheet and throw them right in the oven. If I sound more out of breath, it is because I am officially 30 weeks, so I feel out of breath. While the potatoes are cooking, I'm going to work on my bacon, so I'm just going to do this in batches. I am just cooking up 4 slices in a batch, just in my pan. I have it set on about medium heat, and I am just going to cook these until they become nice and brown and crispy. I get all the time that I should cook my bacon in the oven, and while I think that is a great method, I feel like this is just easier cleanup. Personally, I'm not really sure. Once the bacon is my desired texture and color, I'm just going to drip off excess grease and put it on a paper towel. Next, I drained out the bacon grease and left about 1 tablespoon of bacon grease to cook the eggs in. Normally, if I was just cooking myself breakfast, I would try to limit the amount of oil and butter, but it is the holidays. I'm just going to cook these eggs and break them into 2. Lastly, it is time to cook the sandwiches. So I just assembled everything with the bacon, egg, cheese, and threw some butter on the bread. We're just going to cook this until it is nice and toasted on both sides. This definitely tasted more restaurant-like with how you cook the sandwich with the butter. This is how everything looked when it was done. Bacon, egg, and cheese is my favorite breakfast combo for anything. Thank you so much for watching this week's What's for Dinner video. Make sure you come back next week for another one.